Welcome back to RV News, your #1 source for daily intel, verified insights, and breaking updates on the global currency revaluation, especially the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, and Vietnamese Dong VND. If you're a currency holder, a believer in this historic financial reset, or someone seeking clarity amidst the noise, you've come to the right place. We break it all down, giving you information you can actually use. Now, today's story is one that's sending waves through the RV community. Is Phase 1 of the RV already underway? Are IQD and VND quietly being exchanged at select U.S. banks, while the public remains completely unaware and locked out of the process? The intel flooding in right now suggests something significant is happening behind closed doors, and the implications could be massive for all of us. Over the last few weeks, there has been increasing chatter among intel providers, redemption insiders, and even bank contacts suggesting that a quiet phase of exchanges has already begun. This quiet rollout appears to be targeting a very specific group, possibly test groups, insiders, or chosen individuals within the Tier 3 or early Tier 4 framework. If you've followed RV news for any amount of time, you know that Tier 4B, which includes the public but informed currency holders, has always been expected to go last in the exchange timeline. But now, with reports coming in that certain branches of major U.S. banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America have allegedly processed limited IQD and VND transactions, people are asking, is this RV Phase 1 in motion? One of the most telling signs that something is underway is the recent change in how bank screens are displaying rates. Multiple sources have confirmed that frontline tellers at some regional branches have access to placeholder rates which are far higher than the current Forex or international values. These are not tradable rates for the general public, but they do indicate that banks are preparing for something major. Moreover, some back-end banking IT teams have reportedly activated new rate categories specifically for contract currency transactions, a term often used to refer to special negotiated rates for IQD and VND redemptions. While no bank has publicly admitted to processing revalued exchanges, screens don't change for no reason, and these movements are aligning too closely with long-anticipated RV rollout plans to ignore. Let's also talk about security protocols. There's been an undeniable increase in security measures at specific high-volume banking locations, especially those known to be currency-friendly. Reports indicate that security contractors have been stationed inside and outside bank branches during off hours, which matches patterns previously expected during RV rollout. Why would extra security be deployed now, unless something of high financial value is being moved or processed? Some insiders claim this security ramp-up is directly tied to quiet redemptions being conducted in controlled environments, out of the public eye, but very real nonetheless. Digging deeper, we look at testimonials from individuals who claim to have already gone through a partial redemption. While these stories are difficult to verify independently due to NDA's non-disclosure agreements, the consistency of the details across multiple testimonies is notable. Most describe a strictly scheduled appointment process, often facilitated by a private banker or wealth manager, not a regular teller. The process allegedly includes authentication of the currency, verification of identification, and a presentation of structured payout options, including the possibility of tiered access to funds over time. Now, does that sound like a normal foreign currency exchange? Not even close. That sounds like the kind of structured redemption process that has been whispered about in RV circles for years. Adding fuel to this fire is the growing silence from mainstream financial institutions. While banks are typically very transparent about their foreign exchange policies, many now refuse to comment on IQD or VND inquiries at all. Some banks that previously stated they did not deal in these currencies have removed that language from their websites entirely. Why the shift? Could it be that legal departments are preparing for large-scale transactions and are instructed to avoid making any premature public statements? Legal silence can often be just as telling as vocal confirmation, especially in a scenario as geopolitically sensitive as a global currency reset. Let's pivot briefly to what's happening outside the United States. Word is coming in from international sources, especially in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, suggesting movement on sovereign currency transactions. Iraq has reportedly finalized another round of major oil contracts, priced not in US, but in IQD, signaling increasing confidence in the dinar's valuation. At the same time, Vietnam's central bank has quietly adjusted its reserve strategies, converting more of its holdings into precious metals and away from the US dollar. These moves may seem minor on the surface, but they fit into a broader strategy of de-dollarization and strengthening native currencies ahead of revaluation. These governments are preparing, and many believe the US is already a step ahead, executing early redemptions in a controlled rollout. What does all this mean for the average currency holder? First, you haven't missed out. If what we're seeing is truly RV Phase 1, it's only the beginning, a controlled rollout designed to test systems, verify logistics, and quietly process groups with unique access. This phase is about operational stability, not public access. But here's the thing, once the initial kinks are ironed out, the floodgates could open very quickly. So now is the time to be prepared, not panicked. Have your exchange materials ready, know which banks you plan to visit. Know the difference between a market rate and a contract rate. Be informed about redemption centers, structured payouts, and the questions you'll need to ask. Once it's your turn, we also can't ignore the role of the U.S. Treasury and international regulatory bodies. There is increasing evidence that the Treasury has already distributed new asset-backed digital currency protocols to select banking institutions. This includes guidelines for integrating these protocols with quantum financial system QFS technology, which, according to insiders, is being used to verify and clear these early redemptions securely and transparently. If true, that's a major development, confirming that we're not just dealing with rate changes, we're witnessing a complete overhaul of the global financial structure. Let's be clear, this is not hype. The pieces are coming together in ways we've never seen before. Silent redemptions, updated bank screens, heightened security, international currency movements, and a growing number of reliable voices confirming that the process has begun, just not for everyone. That's why today's video is so critical. We are likely watching the initial launch of RV Phase 1, reserved only for a chosen few, but signaling that the broader release is imminent. So what should you do now? First and foremost, stay calm. Do not flood your local bank with questions. They won't tell you anything right now, and you may risk red flagging your own profile. Instead, stay vigilant. Monitor the intel. Listen to trustworthy sources. Keep your eyes on announcements from financial institutions, Treasury insiders, and RV-connected sources. Most importantly, have a plan. Know what you're going to do. When that 800 number is finally released, know your goals, your limits, and the decisions you'll need to make quickly once that appointment is scheduled. Let's also remember that patience is part of the process. This entire revaluation has been delayed and manipulated for years by global powers. And if we are now seeing actual movement, even in a restricted Phase 1 rollout, that is not a time for frustration. It's a time for cautious optimism. Think about how far we've come. From being called conspiracy theorists, to watching real reports of quiet redemptions happening in U.S. banks, it's undeniable that the narrative is shifting. You're not crazy. You've just been early. And now, the world is finally catching up. As we move into August 2025, there are a few key things to look out for. First, watch for any sudden changes in forex rates, particularly on non-public platforms like CBOE or the interbank trading terminals. Second, monitor any emerging leaks from bank employees or intel providers, especially those who have been reliable in the past. Third, pay close attention to political moves, such as executive orders, emergency monetary announcements, or statements from the IMF or World Bank. These often come just before public activation. And lastly, stay connected to your RV community, whether it's Telegram groups, intel calls, or channels like RV News. The strength of this movement is in our collective knowledge. To everyone watching right now, your time is coming. This isn't just about money, it's about a generational transfer of wealth, about resetting a corrupt financial system, and about being on the right side of history when everything changes. The elite may be getting early access, but the gate won't stay closed forever. Prepare, position, and stay patient. If this video helped you stay informed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to RV News for daily updates, breaking intel, and in-depth analysis. Turn on those notifications so you never miss a critical alert. We'll continue to track every step of this revaluation journey until the day you walk into the bank and finally exchange those notes for the new reality. Thank you for tuning in to RV News, where we bring the truth even when it's hidden behind locked doors and closed bank lobbies.